For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a video review on a brand new driveway awning from Outwell. So with me here today I've got the Outwell Talladega. A name you're going to pronounce wrong over and over again, but the Talladega is basically based in kind of Outwell's road trip collection. It's a whole collection of awnings that are really designed to be kind of very keen on price point, good in terms of specification, but actually lightweight, compact, and this model in particular has got quite a lot of versatility. So the joys of this actually is that you can, not only does it orientate the same way as your vehicle, as you can kind of see directly here, but the tunnel section actually removes. So you can actually rotate the direction, whether it faces directly at the front or directly at the back of your vehicle. Now, this is important because obviously if you've got, say, a Continental van or, let's say, a California, you can make sure the front always faces the front, or you turn it to a pitch and for some reason that the view is behind you. Again, you can orientate yourself round. And what it kind of also means is that you've almost got a standalone tent just with then a attachment that can go to your camper van. So that works really quite smartly. Now, the Talladega has Outwell's kind of Altex fabric. So it's a 3000mm hydrostatic head. It's a little bit of a hybrid, so we've got it's inflatable. So we've got 2 inflatable tubes and then a fiberglass pole on the front here, and it's actually one for the canopy for the tunnel section as well, so you can always have a look at that in general. I say there's lots of different little quirky little features I do really quite like about the model itself. It's a standard sort of fabric, so it's looking about 70D, so it's a decent sort of level, but again, nice sort of good waterproof level. Guy ropes across the back, and you've almost got like this kind of open canopy that leaves you down into your lovely sewn in ground sheet section, and the canopy on this is actually quite boastful. The canopy at the front also, you can have the option of obviously having it flush, sort of pulling it fully out to give you a bit more of a wind barrier, or you can roll it back like I have here just to kind of bring it all in. So in a scenario where I've kind of tried to make more access to the front of the van, that gives you the flexibility as well. You can check out our own Attwoolls pitching and packing video. It took myself no longer than I think around about sort of 15 minutes to pitch the whole thing, just because you've got uncertain fiberglass poles here and there. High visibility guy lines as well, so it means you've got less trip hazards. You've got Outwell special sliders on there as well, just kind of helps you to leave the peg in place where it is, but of course you can then sort of tweak it a little bit just to get that extra bit of tension rather than having to repeg the whole thing again. The fiberglass poles are pre-angled as well to help give you that lots of internal height. That's one thing, certainly when you're in the canopy section, that height in front is pretty boastful. You know, it's actually, in terms of the main body, it's a 2.7 meter width, and the main body with the sewn ground sheets, I think it's about 2.8. So it's kind of fairly square in its main parts. But the main thing for me is, like, so even though it's kind of what you probably maybe classified more entry level in terms of spec than the fabric, but it's the features that will make it quite rich and good value. So for example, it's got a lovely big mesh front door panel here. Now, on all internal doors, sort of from the main body leading out, it not only zips as you would with a conventional door, but more importantly, it zips directly along the bottom. Now, this is important because essentially it's a complete sealed unit. And on this model, you've actually got 3 doors. So you've got 1 on the front and then 2 on either side, because it's almost like vice versa. So you can change the tunnel section to be on the other side. So again, that's something that's quite unique, and as previously mentioned, it's almost like a glorified tent. All of the, as you've expected out, all of the kind of points for the guide points are reinforced. So there's a little webbing strap that runs directly from the guide line itself into the main seam, so it helps to spread the load on the actual seam. Means it's going to take a bit more wear and tear and last you a little bit longer as well. You also have Outwell's kind of strap system, which allows you to, I can demonstrate this now, which allows you to Velcro around the pole itself. So what this allows you to do is you basically loop it round, that then Velcros around like so. Now this is designed that when you actually pull the guide points, you're pulling the fabric as well as the pole in one go. So it just makes it a much more thorough job. Something Outwell I've used on their kind of tents for a number of years now. But again, it's something they use on their, you can use on their awnings as well. So that should likely come out like so. We've got an adjuster on the bottom as well, so even if you're not the best at getting the pole in, you can obviously quite happily do so. The poles are colour coordinated, so you've got a little kind of webbing strap here around the sleeve, to help reinforcement, but also it kind of identifies it's a grey pole. So there's normally like a little bit of grey tape in there to signify that, but there's only 2 poles on this model. Obviously a small one you'll notice is for the canopy, or the main one there. A manual pump comes supply as standard as well. And one thing to mention about the fabric, it's actually made from recycled plastic bottles. So it's kind of Outwell's kind of care and choice. So it's just gives you, again, a bit more eco-friendly, and they try to do their bit and source things a bit more ethically. In terms of the, so as you've got almost like a mirror image, so we've got a side door, and it's the same side door that goes into the tunnel section. The side door itself, you've got this nice big window in here, so there's a privacy curtain that you can kind of toggle up or toggle down. It then rolls in a little pocket directly down the bottom. But more importantly, when you want to have the maximum amount of airflow, you can roll that away. There is a slight tint to all the windows as well. So not only do you get sort of privacy with the curtains, but you can completely get an element of privacy, but still a bit of visibility by looking at that. And again, we've got a mesh panel on the side panel as well. And again, zips directly. In fact, we'll keep that one zipped up for the time being. Zips, so you've got again the nice airflow coming directly in, and also means that your view purpose, you can look forward, you can look out through the window or for the mesh, so that works quite smartly as well. The back point as well, so all of the guide points also have a little bit of Velcro parts located here. Now that's designed that you can actually tidy the kind of guide line away, keep it neat and tidy in a way so you haven't got a big bundle of mess when you need to. Personally, I'd always recommend when you want to attach on the tunnel section that obviously takes you to the vehicle, ideally you want to put this on probably before you inflate it. You can do it afterwards, but it helps you get your position away from the van itself. But in fact, let's bring the camera around a little bit and just kind of get a better idea of that kind of tunnel section and the inside of the actual awning itself. So the tunnel section, as you can kind of see here, sits nice and tightly against the van. Now, it's going to fit vehicle heights from about 175 up to 2 meters, so it's quite a small range, but generally it's a really nice snug fit, and majority of smaller vans are kind of that kind of size anyway. We've got two doors in the tunnel section which allow you to access your camper van without having to go through the main body of the awning every time. And one thing that's you also got is a webbing strap here which allows you to take and adjust it up and get it looking quite sharp, and that's because I think one of the things that's quite nice is because the tunnel is so versatile and it's not actually physically stitched into the awning, you've got a little bit more play, so you can get it looking pretty sharp and tweak it afterwards rather than have to move the whole physical awning. So you've got a bit more play in the tunnel section itself. In terms of attaching it to your vehicle, you've got a couple of options. You can look to basically go into a wind out, like I have here, using the 5mm beading that's pre-stitched on there, or you've also got a 7mm beading which can go into a normal kind of C-rail or reamer rail. Personally, if you're looking to drive away, I'd always recommend a fixing kit, just because it allows a component to move rather than having to move the van or the awning when you want to drive away. So you can detach it quite nice and easily and drive off. If you haven't got a rail for any reason, you can literally get some guy ropes, throw this over the top of the vehicle and peg it down the other side. And failing that, there's also a sleeve for a pole and clamp kit, so you can clamp that into your gutter or your multi-rail. Like I said, the door can open up quite nice and neatly, and it's a bit different because it also opens up towards the van rather than towards the awning itself. For me, I think it's quite a little point of difference. And if you really want to, what you can do is actually kind of clip it, so that door section can kind of drop down, unclip, and you can take the door the other way if you wanted to. Almost unpeg it, and then you've got a full-on access way which is kind of open and sheltered from there. As we come around to the main body, you can see a bit better of the height. You've got those tinted windows built into it, and there's a little mesh part at the top as well, just to help increase airflow. That beautiful big mesh window, and obviously the proper zip along the bottom to make sure we keep all the bugs out. One thing is also to mention is this same door can actually drop down and go flat. So it means we've got a complete trip-free access into the main body of the awning. It's worth noting actually that the two side doors have a little bit of a lip into them. So this is going to be your main port of call for trip-free access into the main body of the awning itself. But again, it gives you the options. We've got the window currently halfway here, like I said, just on toggles, and I can go fully up to the top as and when you need to. Inside, we've got a decent amount of size. You can buy an optional bedroom in here as well, which will take up pretty much the back space of the section, which is quite a clever way of doing it because you get the full length of the width of it, so 2.7, well, a little bit less internally, but then it still gives you a little bit of a front section. You can kind of come in and utilize one of the two doors to get into the vehicle. So it still means you can almost leave the bedding in there. It doesn't really obstruct your main functionality of the awning itself. We've also got Outwell's hook track system on this main front beam, so this helps to create a hanging point for a lantern. Of course, you can run things like little storage organisers hanging directly down. In fact, we'll move the camera again and go around the side door just to give you a bit more of a lens through the side of it. There you go. So you can probably appreciate as you come sort of through the main body, you then come into the tunnel section, which is located here. The tunnel is actually wide enough you can actually open the sliding door fully within the section, and then you can also then access your main part as well. You have got a little bit of a dip in between the doorways. I'm sort of on a taller scale, but when you come certainly through the front door, that helps to make life a lot easier. And then you've got the clips, like I said, located down the bottom here for that bedroom section, just to go kind of in this back section side. But we'll bring the camera inside now and just give a better all-round picture. So in fact, let's start with the back. So you see how the back of it, how well it pitch. Like I said, you can see the tunnel section. Now we've actually got a pole in that tunnel section directly at the top, so that's going to help kind of elevate the actual awning itself and stop the rain coming off it. And you can see how well it fits on the side by going directly into that kind of wind out. So you can see we've got the sort of 7mm building at the bottom. We're into the wind out on the top. That's your sort of sleeve for the pole and clamp kit. And then you can throw this over the top to create the gyro. So that's kind of how that works really quite nicely. But because you can see the tunnel section just loops around the air beam, you can rotate that directly around the other side. We've got the side door located there, and we've got obviously the inflation points are located down there. So each beam's done individually. Like I said, you can use the manual pump that comes supplied with it. As we kind of look around the front, you can see what I've done with the door. Probably couldn't see it in the first instance, but I've sort of rolled it back. I've got it laying down on the floor, but this kind of creates this beautiful kind of natural open space into the awning. This is on Outwell's all of their collection you can look at. And then we've got our little roof port, which makes difference. So in terms of raining, it goes into the clips here, helps to elevate that tunnel, means that you've got no kind of low point in the vehicle. The water's going to drain off properly. And like I said, with the extra adjustments, we've got the webbing strap to allow to take extra tunnel section, small little tunnel clip, which is for the door section itself, and the tunnel actually just then toggles to the side. So again, it's probably not as thorough as it being physically stitched in, but you do have the option, obviously, of removing it, using it as its own unit. But you see how well it sort of fits on the front. This area is going to be kind of shouted anyway, so just with that extra bit of option, it works well. And as previously mentioned, like I said, we can open the tunnel fully within the section just because that's 2.5 meters in general. It's also worth noting that even though the tunnel on the side toggles down, so you can see on here, we've got these little toggle points. What you find is there's a clip, so that's the clip that will take the main tunnel, and you can even guy it off if you really wanted to, just to give it a bit more overall space. It does create almost like a double glazing kind of effect with the roof section, because it's like having a roof protector on your main body. So that works really quite smartly as well. Like I say, it's something a little bit different. It's I think the thing I kind of generally quite like about it is mainly that versatility. You can, with the canopy, turn it either side, the peaked, but for me, obviously the fact that your main body is completely zipped in with mesh on 3 doors, which again, you don't really see that often. We've still got the quality kind of fabric, the seams, the workmanship. We've got a 2-year warranty on the whole awning as well. So you've got that kind of backup in terms of that sense, and that way usually certainly one of the sort of top of brands in the market. Made from recycled plastic bottles, so that kind of whole care and choice message, which again makes a little bit of a nicer difference. But there's a lot of tick boxes, I think, and one thing I've not mentioned actually is we've got a cable entry point as well located down the bottom, so we can have a mains hook up directly into the awning itself, and we've got it, he says, yeah we have, on either side, again, so you can have your mains cable come in directly into the van, into the main body of the awning, so you always have your mains power in here rather than having it directly through a door. So That was brilliant. But yeah, hopefully it's been helpful. Feel free to let us know, obviously, some feedback in the comments box below. It's always great to hear from you, be it good, bad, or different. But a lot of interesting things. For me, I like the concept. I like the flexibility. It's that trade-off with the tunnel where you can obviously the flexibility, you move it, not being sealed, but then it is kind of a wet, dry area anyway. But on the whole, I think it's quite a nice little model. And I said, by all means, have a look at our little pitching video we've done as well to show you how quick, simple it really is. But all in all, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again soon in our next Attwoolls video review. That's been our video review on the Outwell Talladega Air awning.